Morning, everyone. Okay, hope everyone is able to see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Online participants, please confirm, is it loud and clear?
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so as usual, before any of our sessions, we ask the same question. Why do you want to learn this? Why do you want to learn SQL and Power BI? And probably, you can do this way, like introduce yourself, your name, where are you working currently, and why do you want to learn SQL and Power BI? Okay, we'll proceed with the offline participants first, and then I'll come to the online, okay? So, yeah.
I'm Ganesh, sir. I'm a recent graduate from 2024 batch. So, as you know, I'm currently a fresher, and the demand now is data analytics, and the market is very high for data analytics. So I want to try my share with data analytics and try what can I achieve in these two.
Okay, so you want to get into data analytics role.
Yes.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, myself, Ganesh Kumar. I have worked as a manager in FMCG since 6 years. I want to upgrade myself to a data analyst. So I came for you.
Okay, you want to upgrade yourself. Okay, cool then. Okay. Yep, online participants, please go ahead. Your name and if you're working somewhere, where you're working. And why do you want to learn SQL and Power BI?
I'm Srikanth. I work with Cognizant. Actually, I work with BPS. So I just want to enhance my skills, and most of my work is on Excel part. So I think that it is related to Excel. So that's why I would like to learn.
Okay, great. Thanks for that. Yeah, others also go ahead, please.
Hey, my name is Naresh. I just want to enhance my skills.
Are you working somewhere?
Yes, I'm working in Invesco.
Okay, okay. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sai Prasad. I'm working in Sitco. So, for recently in our organization, we are focusing on automations and creating the reports in a quite feasible manner. So, I heard about this Power BI and Power Query SQL part. So, I want to learn these things as a part of our automation.
Perfect.
Hello.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
Thank
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is Pradeep, sir. Working as a MIS executive in domestic level company. From last 5 years, I'm working with Excel, sir. Now I want to upgrade as a data analyst.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, myself is Ravi, sir. Like, I have been working in US IT staffing and IT consulting services domain. Like, I handle accounts. So most of my work done in Excel. So I wanted to enhance my skills.
Perfect. Thank you.
My name is Narendra. I'm working in currently Cognizant Technologies. So I want to enhance my skills in currently my max of the tools are using only for Excel. So I have enhanced my skills in IT department.
Okay. Thank you.
Myself, Sayakshay. I'm working in Wells Fargo. Well, I'm very much interested in data analytics, so I wanted to learn Power BI and SQL.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for that. Others? Anyone is?
Good morning, Kishore.
Hey, good morning.
Swaroop here. I'm working in Cognizant Technology Solutions. I want to be enhance my skills in data analyst as a data.
Data analytics. Okay. Right, so I see, you all are coming from different companies and, Wells Fargo, Invesco, Cognizant, and Citco. I heard other couple of company names also. So you see one common thing there. Every company is actually looking for data analytics, right? So there is a reason also. Companies now got so much of data with them. So now they want to analyze and find out what's going on in their business, right? So for that, we have different kind of tools. I'll anyways take you through, what is Tableau, what is Power BI, right? What are the other alternative tools that are available in the market? I'll explain, but why Power BI is actually playing a very significant role also, I'll explain, okay? So, and why users find it very easy to learn Power BI. Okay, compared to Tableau or ClickView or ClickSense now, you find learning Power BI is much more easier than the other tools. I'll explain why all those things. I'll take you through the presentations. Okay, so before we start off, this is about me. I'm Kishore. It's been a good 16 plus years. I've been into this reporting, analytics, automation. Recently started working with AI, Copilot, and ChatGPT. Yeah, worked with different organizations, earned different kind of certifications. So they are my certificate badges. And as part of this training program, the SQL and Power BI training program, I'll also explain you the steps, how you can achieve PL300 Microsoft Power BI Data Analyst Associate certification also, which is an online exam, like any other Microsoft examination. So I'll also let you know what kind of questions will come, right? What are the topics that you need to be good with to easily crack the certification? I'll explain you all those things during the course itself. I basically work with different reporting tools, starting from Excel, Macro, SQL, MS Access, SQL Server, SAP Crystal Reports, Business Objects, Power BI, ClickView, ClickSense, and Tableau. Earlier I used to work with, but now I'm spending more time on Power BI only. Work with Power Apps, Power Automate, different RPA tools there. So I got working experience in US healthcare, revenue cycle management, financial data analysis, IT assets analytics, contact center analytics. Different roles I was part of. I was earlier working as consultant with a couple of companies. Now I'm still working as a consultant, but more like designing the L&D programs for different companies. Closely working with Dr. Reddy's to design their L&D programs and P&G, the Procter and Gamble company. So I'm designing their programs. So many big companies, personally designing a lot of training programs for them to get their teams onto the data analytics platforms, right? So that's briefly about me, and I'm currently working with Excelytics. Different roles I'm handling here. Earlier, I was with Quadratics as a senior consultant in data analytics, was with Deloitte as an assistant manager in reporting and analytics, United Health Group as an automation expert there. So long journey for me, 16 plus years into this. But thing is that the kind of domain we are into, it's basically every now and then you see a new tool coming in, right? A new technology or a new language. So it's like an ongoing learning for all of us, right? There is no end to it, right? Good thing is that these tools have similarities. Even if a new tool comes in, you still find a lot of similarities. So it is easy for you to upgrade. Someone who is already working with Excel, it's easy for you to upgrade to Power BI because the interface and all looks very much similar. So there are so many reasons, okay? So we'll slowly go through that. Before starting the session, let me tell you the schedule also. Batch number is B00655. B00655. Any information that you need about this batch, material or email communication or maybe anything related to it, you need to mention this. B00655 is the batch number. Let me just quickly check that once. Yes, 655. Okay. Right. So this is your batch number. Runs Monday to Friday morning 9:30 to 11 o'clock, but you can log in around 9:40 also if you're joining online. Okay. Meanwhile, all offline participants get settled down here. So 9:40 is the start time is what we do. Would be about a good 18 to 20 sessions, and sometimes it go up to 22 sessions also, depends on the kind of, situations or the questions that you give me. So that's where we spend some additional time. So just be ready for up to 22 days. Okay. All major festivals are holidays. Saturday, Sundays, we don't have any sessions. But otherwise, if there is any cancellation because of my, unavailability, we'll let you know at least 1 day in advance. But if it is like an emergency thing, at least you will get something like a 2 hours or 1 hour at least in advance notification that the batch is cancelled for that day. Right. So Monday to Friday, 9:30 to 11 o'clock, covers both SQL and Power BI here. Okay, so I just spoke about only Power BI sessions, right? We also have before that SQL sessions also. SQL sessions would take about 13 to 15 sessions, but yeah, somewhere around a good, I would say 18 to 20 hours time. Okay. So it's going to be like a 1.5 month you can consider from today, including Saturdays and Sundays, right? But as I said, we'll be just doing Monday to Friday sessions, right? So it's going to take about 1.5 months to complete this entire SQL and Power BI combination, right? There may be questions also around why do I need to learn SQL, right? Without the SQL, can't I proceed to Power BI? There may be so many things about this, but there is a connection. Without learning SQL also, you can go to Power BI, but mastering Power BI data modeling concept is going to be little challenging unless you have that SQL idea, right? So that's the reason sometimes even if we directly start the Power BI sessions, the first couple of days, I spend time on SQL so that, you will get that idea. But good thing is that as anyways, we are starting from SQL. So you will have complete understanding about SQL and then we'll move on to Power BI. You can also learn the other way, but learning SQL is definitely recommended, right? So that is the reason we created this program as SQL and Power BI combination only. Someone who is coming from Analytics Power package, right? If anyone registered for an Analytics Power Pack, you would have already completed Excel. Now you are moving on to SQL and Power BI. So you are learning everything in a sequence. So you will find it much more easier than others because you are already done with our Excel course. Someone who is directly joining today, if you are fairly, you have some fair understanding about Excel, it's okay for you. But if you don't even have any idea about Excel, then I definitely don't recommend you to continue in this batch. I want you to complete Excel first. There are reasons. I'll tell you a simple example here. While explaining SQL join, I say that, this is similar to VLOOKUP, right? When I say VLOOKUP, the ones who learned already Excel concepts, you understand, okay, you got two tables, one common key is there, I'll do the lookup value and I'll get this value. You see, someone who is already good with Excel, they understand, as join is very much similar concept like a VLOOKUP. So this basically helps you to fetch the columns from the other tables. That you can easily imagine, right? But someone who is new to Excel, doesn't know what is VLOOKUP, then it turns out to be a challenging job for them to understand the concept itself, right? So Excel is very user friendly. If you start with Excel, then understanding SQL and understanding Power BI is easy, right? But if you are like a very quick learner, you can obviously continue in this batch, no issues, even if you don't have any Excel idea. But recommendation, learning Excel is also good. Okay. So hope that that makes it very clear what are the prerequisites here, right? Fine. So there will be a material package for this training program, and I'll share that material package on Google Drive. And like the way you got Excel material, same way you will get the Power BI material also, SQL material also there, right? So we'll start with SQL sessions initially, and then we'll move on to Power BI. But today I'll take an orientation session on both SQL and Power BI. What all will be covered, what all you will learn, and what kind of projects we'll do towards the end of Power BI, right? And how to crack the certification also, I'll let you know, right? So for that, let me just copy paste the material. Perfect. Here we go. This is the material package you are going to get. SQL for reporting analytics and Power BI material. Okay. Right. So first of all, let me take you through SQL material and the course contents. So this is a very customized course. So we named it as SQL for data analytics and reporting. Okay. So if you see the regular SQL course, the way many other places what they offer is that it's a complete DBA program, right? DBA program, I would say. So in which you will be learning how to design a database, how to set up the security rules in a database, how to manage your server, right? In and out. But this particular training program doesn't cover all of them. You get a question like, it is good to learn all of them, right? Yes or no? Okay. Tell me something. You still remember, let me go to Telugu, okay? You still remember those Achulu, Halulu? You remember how many Halulu are there?
Total 52.
You see that what I'm trying to explain is in your current life, you are not using them. That's the reason it's nothing wrong, even if you forget. That's fine, right? But if you are a Telugu teacher, do you really need to remember them? Yeah, definitely. That's your job. Every day and day out, you will be handling, those things, right? So definitely you will have to remember those things because you need to explain. When it comes to this SQL DBA course, if you are joining as a data analyst or a reporting analyst, same thing happens. Even if you learn everything, as a data analyst, you don't get any opportunity to manage the servers, okay? Or manage the security rules, or designing the databases, because that's not our job. Even if you learn and join a company, because you don't get that opportunity to design the databases and all, after 6 months or 1 year, you will forget that anyways, because that's not our job. What is our job? Once the databases are available, it is our job to understand the database, table structures, and create SQL queries to extract the data and report it. That is our job. How it is designed and all, we'll show you. But even if you don't master that subject, that's okay, because our subject is only to extract the data, use the data for the reporting and analytics purpose, right? Investing so much of time on designing the database is not good for a data analyst. Why? Because anyways, you are not going to perform that in your organization, right? So that's the reason we customized it. From all our experiences, we came up with this particular course curriculum that, okay, for a data analyst or for a reporting analyst, this much is enough, more than enough actually, right? So we understand what is a database, what is RDBMS, what is a SQL server. And as I said, we are not going to create the databases and all, but I'll quickly show you how to create a database and how to use it, okay? How to load the data, how to retrieve the data, all those things we'll still learn them. But even if you don't practice much, that's okay. Okay. We install a SQL server. We work with SQL Server 2022 developer edition, of course. The course content show 27. That point in time we designed it. So yeah, 2022 developer edition is what we will be using, right? And then we'll show you how you can manage your server. Though you are not going to play a server administrator role, we'll show you how you can manage your server, how to create the databases, how to delete the databases, right? But again, this is not our job, okay? Remember this. But I'll show you how the databases are created, how they can be deleted, right? We also work with, TSQL here. We work with TSQL, Transact SQL, which is the variant that is understood by Microsoft SQL Server. So I'll talk about the different servers, MySQL Server, Oracle servers, IBM servers, right? Similarly, Microsoft SQL Server. So I'll tell you the differences, okay? There may be a lot of questions about, people talk about Oracle SQL, people talk about SQL Server, TSQL, what are they, what kind of variants are they? So I'll explain all those things so that you will get a better idea. So we also learn how to create the tables and all, but this is not our job because as part of the database designing, the tables are created, right? But I'll show you, even if you don't master that subject, that's okay, right? Then what kind of constraints are applied on the tables are the columns, be it primary key, foreign key, not null constraint, unique, default, check constraint, different types of constraints are there. We'll talk about them. And the data types, while designing the tables columns, what kind of data types are used. We'll see that DML, data manipulations. Once the tables are ready, what is the next thing? Data manipulation. So we need to insert, update, delete, truncate the tables. So we'll learn, the second stage. First stage is to design the tables and all. Second one is to insert, update, delete, truncate the data. Right? We'll learn all those things, the differences between delete and truncate. And here it starts actually, our job. DQL, data querying. Right? As a data analyst, what is needed? Data querying is needed. So here we learn how to use a select statement, and in that select, there are so many concepts like how to use the where clauses, having, grouping, using distinct, column aliases, table aliases, and so many things. We apply different aggregate functions, text functions, logical functions as part of the built-in functions. Once we are done with that, how to start working with multiple tables by using joins. If you have two tables and a common key, if you want to fetch the data, so how to do that, we'll see that. Different types of joins, we'll discuss the differences between the joins. Set operators like union, union all, intersect, except, when to use these things, how these things are different from joins, we'll see. Subqueries, okay, very, very important concept, because sometimes we don't want to use a join. Instead of that, we can use a subquery. How a subquery can get you the join kind of a result also, we'll see that. Okay, when to use just join, when to use a subquery, we'll see. Views are virtual tables. Okay, this is also very, very important concept as a data analyst. Why? Because once you join a company, we usually get views access, not the base table access. There are reasons also, I'll talk about that. Security, though it is not part of our roles, but I'll explain security also. Why? Because once you join a company and let's say you are trying to access a database object and it is throwing an error, you should be able to explain it right to your, the administrator that, okay, this is a kind of error, looks like I don't have access to it. So you should be able to confidently talk about it. So that's the reason we'll talk about this as well. Transaction management, again, this is for the application developers, where a transaction is started, and if it is completely done, it's okay, but during the processing of the transaction, if something goes wrong, you want to roll back the entire transaction, it is as good as a Control-Z, right? So these kind of things we deal with. And on top of that, I'll also cover additional things. Of course, they are not here. We talk about stored procedures, how to work with the variables, like small programs, how to create them using SQL. I'll cover that. Plus window functions. For very powerful analytics, we use these window functions. They are also covered. Okay. When we do that window, there is a partition, keyword that comes in to make that result set into small parts to do a specific kind of an analysis, right? I can give you a simple example where the window functions can help. Something like you have a data set. There you have departments, accounts department, HR department, sales department. I want to find out sales department, second highly paid employee name. You see that the condition. You're not looking at the overall data. You're looking at sales out of all those departments. And from there, who is the second, highest salary paid employees? From each department also, I can get it. You're getting it. That means I should be able to dynamically create the partitions while getting the results itself. So for that, we use window functions. A simple example. And along with that, there is something called CTE, Common Table Expression, so which is not here, but I also covered that. Okay. When we want to do, these kind of complex analytics and all, we work with CTEs also. Okay. Common table expressions. So additional things that we are going to get is window functions, stored procedures, working with the variables, common table expressions, CTEs. Okay. These are the things will be covered in SQL. And moving on to Power BI. Yeah. Right from the basics of, hold on. Let me open that from the Power BI itself. Right from the introduction to Power BI, what is Power BI? Why, it is so important for us to learn as a data analyst, right? So what are the different components are there, how to build a sample report, the first step, like how to get the data from different data sources, the different types of transformations we use, right? Each and every topic will spend some good amount of time to understand, okay? Using Power Query concepts, how you can automate your, report processing or the data processing steps. Then the next step is data modeling, how to build the data models, what is the relationship, right? These things, yeah, unless we get into the subject, these things are, maybe sounding very, very new for you. But visualizations, someone who is coming from Excel background, you know this already, you have different types of charts available in Power BI, very powerful charts. I'll show you a few of them today. I'll create one quick, report. So different types of charts. And other thing is that you can even download the custom charts, nothing but from the app source, you can download new charts also that are not available as default charts, right? Very powerful charts are there. Then we have slicing and dicing, the filters and slices. In Excel also, on pivot tables, we apply the slicers, very similar concept, okay? We can apply a slicer there in Power BI as well. DAX language, yeah, you all work with Excel formulas. Different types of formulas like SUMF, COUNTIFs, VLOOKUP, HLOOKUP, index, match, right? Perfect. So in Excel, we have Excel formulas. In Power BI, we have DAX formulas. I'd like to tell you one interesting thing here. If you are good with Excel formulas, 65% of the DAX formulas you can easily work with, right? If you are aware of Excel formulas, working with DAX formulas is going to be very easy because syntax wise and everything looks very, very similar. But there are very advanced formulas also available in DAX. DAX stands for data analysis expressions. Okay. So we have different types of DAX functions, the same type of functions you see, right? In Excel also we have logical functions, text functions, mathematical functions, same. But here we have very powerful filter functions also. In Microsoft 365 Excel, we have a few of the filter functions, but in DAX, you have very powerful, filter functions, out of which one of those things is calculate function. We'll spend some time on calculate function also. It is like very powerful, okay? And then we publish the report onto Power BI service, right? Which is a cloud version of Power BI. And we publish the report so that, your end users can see these reports from anywhere. Let's say you are working here and your boss is working from US location. You publish the report here and your boss can log in and can see that, okay? So while publishing, you need to understand the different types of license types. Okay, what is a free license, pro license, a PPU, premium per user subscription, or there is a premium capacity server. Okay, you can even go for that, but that is like way too expensive. Only big companies, they can go for it. Okay, capacity server. So how to publish them? How to set up RLS, row level security. I'll give you a simple example here because most of you are coming from Excel background. Answer this. Okay, I created a dashboard, okay? And I have all the regions data here, right? Now I want to share this report with each and every regional manager. What is that you do? Correct. We can share the Excel file directly, or we can keep this Excel file on a shared path where all these, regional managers got access to it. They can go there, they can open. Otherwise, you just need to attach the Excel file and to all the, South regional manager, North regional manager, and all of them, and you send it. Fine. But your business gives you a tricky requirement here, saying if North regional manager opens it, should be able to see only North data. Okay. So one particular manager shouldn't be able to see the other region's data. Then what is it you do in Excel?
We have to prepare for
Exactly. So 5 regions are there. 5 different Excel files you need to create by removing or deleting the other regions data every time. Right? 5. And CEO is there. CEO wants to see the full data. Then 6. See, as an Excel user, we understand all these challenges, right? So it takes at least some good 15 minutes, and moreover, quality issues also. Instead of deleting north data while sending, right, you may delete south data and send it. You're getting it. And you may save it, the file, you should save that as south file, but if you rename it, I mean, if you save it as north, and the south data will go to the north person. Quite possible, right? We all see these things as Excel users, but there is something called RLS, row level security. While publishing itself, we set up a role there. So what happens is that if a South manager is logging in, though the report is same for all of us, when South manager logs in, can see only South data. You see that? North manager logs in, can see only North data. Report is same. But filters, based on the login credentials, the filters can be applied internally. And when a CEO logs in to see the entire performance of all the regions, then can see all the regions data. You see that? So that's the reason that user ID password is like very confidential, right? In our organizations also. So when they use their user ID password, we configure in such a way that when a CEO is logging in, we look at that email address and okay, so it is a CEO's email address, so should be able to see all the data. So dynamically the filters will change there inside. Right? So you no need to create multiple copies of the report. So those kind of techniques also we will learn. How to set up static RLS, how to set up dynamic RLS. When you have 200 employees, you cannot check each and every employee email address manually and set up a role, right? We set up a dynamic RLS. Okay, so I'll show you those techniques also. And one more thing is that usually as an Excel user, you know this challenge very well. Today, I created a report showing yesterday's data. Tomorrow, I'll create one more report showing today's data. It is like a daily report. So every day we create a report using yesterday's data, right? Every day, let's assume that we spend half an hour, right? In that half an hour, what is that we do? We go to the source. It could be SAP or some source, and we run the report and we get the data. We go to our Excel template, remove the earlier, yesterday's data, paste the new data, check all the calculations working fine or not, right? As a MIS analyst, you all can easily understand this, right? We check all the conditions working fine or not. And then what is that we do? We refresh all the pivot tables, make sure all the calculations are working fine. Then we share it with the client or share it with the management, right? But in Power BI, you don't need to do that. Once you set up the process, if the data changes, right, for tomorrow, it needs to read today's data, you can set up a scheduled refresh. Every day morning, 8 o'clock, the report should be ready and you schedule it. Every day morning, 8 o'clock, it refreshes the data and it does all those steps which are supposed to be done by us. Power BI itself can do that, right? That is a scheduled refresh. While scheduling the refresh, you come across one more thing called Power BI Data Gateway. Usually, this is a Power BI administrator role, who sets up that gateway and all, but we'll learn the admin side also in this training program. Both Power BI desktop developer side, Power BI service admin side, both the things will be taught here. So data gateway, how to do that, how to set up automatic refreshes to the data sets and all. And along with that, we create apps using Power BI, service. We also set up alerters. We also set up the subscription. So many concepts are there as part of Power BI service. So we'll learn all those points, right? Fine then. So far, is it okay? Right? What is it you're going to learn right from the basics of Power BI to how to create a very powerful dashboard and publish it onto how to create a powerful report and publish it onto Power BI service. That is what we are going to learn. To have a Power BI service account, you need to have an organizational email address. Okay, what is this organizational email address? Something like @ correct, @ Deloitte.com or @ accessbank.com, something like that we need. Okay, but if you don't have it, we have an alternative way to get a temporary email address, and I'll show you how you can create your Power BI service account without making any payment. So we are going to use all free versions only. You don't need to pay single rupee there, right? We are going to use SQL Server Developer Edition, which is for free. But if you want to implement it in the production environment, you will have to pay for it. Coming to Power BI also, we are going to use as a free user. Okay, but if you want to go with a pro user, every month $10. Okay, but we don't need at this point, only organizational level we need that. But as an end user, I mean, as a single user, you don't need to go for the license. Okay, I'll talk about the different licensing also. Right, is it fine? Got some idea what is that you are going to learn in the coming, 45 days? All right. SQL and Power BI, both of them. You can consider a 15 days for SQL and 30 days for Power BI. So I'm including the Saturday, Sundays also. Overall, I'm talking about. Okay, so Monday to Friday only we run the batch. Okay. 45 days total duration from now. If you add 45 days, that's going to be the end date of our course. Okay, but we don't run the sessions on the Saturday, Sundays. Okay.
Sure, what is the relation between ETL and Power BI? Because in the content, I've seen the first point, that is ETL.
ETL, perfect. ETL, anyone from that background? Someone who extract, transform, load. Okay. So this ETL is done at two levels, I would say. One is at the database level ETL. While getting the data from the different OLTPs to OLAP. Okay, something like a data warehouse, you would have heard that, right? So I'll explain what is a data warehouse also in our SQL concepts. So while getting the data from different databases into a data warehouse, there is a process called ETL, extract, transform, load. So these ETL developers, they get the data from multiple databases, they extract it, they transform that into the required shape, and they load it into the data warehouse. That is the database level ETL process. But once you start reading the data from the data warehouse for your report, sometimes you also need to perform a report level ETL. Nothing but your client gives you a very specific requirement and your data doesn't exist in that shape. So you need to do a report level ETL. So you need to extract the data from the data warehouse, transform the data so that it suits your reporting requirements, and then load the data into your report. That is a reporting level ETL. Okay, so you can see two levels of ETL here.
Thank you.
Yeah, so for that ETL only, we are going to use Power Query. Power Query is our ETL platform. One of those things why Power BI was able to, beat Tableau. Tableau doesn't have directly an inbuilt ETL. I'm not sure at this, maybe they would have integrated it, but earlier we used to have two licenses when I was working with Tableau. One is the Tableau desktop license. The other one is Tableau Prep. It's a separate license again. Tableau Prep is a data preparation tool. Again, something similar to the ETL tool only. Two different tools, two different licenses. Tableau Prep helps us to prepare the data, doing that ETL activity. Whatever the outcome that comes, we can load it to Tableau desktop to create the reports. But in Power BI, the advantage is that it has an integrated, ETL platform, Power Query. You get the data, you do the data transformation, directly load it into Power BI and create the reports. So you don't need to, depend on any other platform to prepare your data. Because the very first step in any report is to get the data and prepare it. Right? So both the things are there. Power Query also. The first step, I'll take you through now. In any report creation, let me explain why SQL is needed. Then I'll show you why, how you can create a report. I think most of you are here in the reporting layer using Excel. So many reports you can create, right? Like every day you get the data from different sources and you get emails with CSV files and all, or you get Excel files and you copy all the data and, paste that into Excel and write the calculations, create the pivots and all, and you create finally a report. Right? Most of you may be here and a few of you may be working with Crystal Reports, BOBI and SSRS, SQL Server Reporting Server services, right? Or a few of you may be working with Tableau and any other business application and all. But if you want to create a report, tell me this, if you want to create a report, what is needed? You want to create a report. What is
Data.
needed? Data is needed. Simple, data is needed, right? That data is usually stored inside databases in bigger organizations. So if you are working with a very small organization, they may be storing their data in Excel itself. But almost all the big, mid-scale, large-scale companies, they store their data in any of the databases, right? It could be SQL database, Oracle, Sybase, Teradata, DB2, Access. So many different databases are there. Okay. So if you want to create a report and there you have the data in one of the databases and you want to talk to the database and get the required amount of the data and create a report, right? So how can you talk to a database? You need a language. You need a language to interact with it. That language is SQL, structured query language. So you basically talk to a database management system there, a server. You give a command using SQL language and it goes there to the database management system and it understands it. It goes to the physical database where the data is stored. It could be any kind of a database. And whatever I write here, I may write something like this: select star from transactions table where the transaction date is between so-and-so date to so-and-so date. When I give that, this query will hit the server and then it will get me the required amount of data. Once the data comes in, then it gets that data into my reporting layer. So I can get the data into Excel. Actually, you can use Excel also as a client application to directly read the data from a database by writing a SQL query. If you want to, directly connect to a SQL database, I have a local server here. I can write a query here. If I know the table objects and all, select star from, there is a table here, employee table. So I can directly write that, okay? Yeah, I can read it directly from the database. Okay, one of the databases is there in my system itself. A SQL server is running from my computer. So I'll let you know how you can install this SQL server. Usually in your organizations, we are not allowed to install the SQL servers and all in our computer. So your IT team does that, right? Fine then. So how to get this data directly using SQL queries and all, we will learn that using, be it Excel or Power BI or any other application. We also work with this one, SSMS, SQL Server Management Studio. So you can get the data using a SQL query, just directly write the query and execute it on the database and you will get the required amount of data. And then you create a report once the data is inside your Excel or any other, right, reporting application. It could be Power BI. Okay, done. So all our, profiles, they look very much similar like this. Be it data analytics or reporting profiles, they look like this. We may be working with any of these applications, but one of those common things that we all need to learn is SQL. Let me show you why SQL is needed. Power BI jobs in Hyderabad. Right? Okay. Yeah, here's the jobs. It's showing senior Power BI developer. Power BI senior analyst. Let's see what kind of skills are needed. What is the role? I'm randomly opening. Okay, I don't even know what is there inside. What is the role? Senior analyst, Power BI, right? What is that they are asking for? Power BI role, right? Why are they asking for SQL then? That's what I was talking about beginning of the session. We all need to have SQL knowledge also. Most of the beginners or even the working professionals also they do this mistake, like because everywhere it says, okay, there are so many jobs available on Power BI. What, usually people focus on only Power BI, but understand that Power BI alone is not enough. You also need to have some idea about SQL also. Randomly, you can open any of them. 6 to 8 years. Let's take a Power BI application leader, Power BI specialist. I don't know what exactly they are looking for, but let's try to figure out. DAX, okay, fine. DAX language, you see that? You randomly open anything. They will ask SQL also. Because Power BI alone can't fetch you much. You open anything randomly. So this is directly they mentioned Power BI and SQL, senior architect, TCS. Okay, hold on. Let's see this. Let's see what all they are looking for. Sometimes, you will also, I'm just waiting for this. Excel. Right. Why Excel? Directly SQL Power BI is also enough, right? First step, Excel. You really want to master any of the data analytics tool, Excel is your first step. Everything that you see in any other tool, they are already there in Excel. Okay, very user friendly. So, you can randomly open any of them and you can check. So, every profile, be it if it is like a data analyst or a Power BI developer or reporting analyst, they ask Excel, SQL, Power BI, or in the place of Power BI, there may be Tableau or ClickSense. Depends on the company, company's preferences, right? Now you got some idea why I told you like Excel is needed for you, right? And SQL and Power BI, anyways, you are going to learn in this, right? So let me take you through as a reporting analyst, what is it? Yeah. Developing a report in Power BI or any other, place for that matter. We try to get the data, right? So the data can come from any cloud server, right? Or any on-prem database or a spreadsheet like Excel sheet or a folder. Your data can come from different places or a web page, different places. While getting the data, I told you, right? We perform report level ETL because the data, whatever we get, that may not be in the right shape. So we need to shape the data also. So this is where we perform report level ETL and we use Power Query for this. Okay, to transform the data into the required shape. Once the data is ready, we build the data models. We create the relationships, we find out primary key, foreign key and all. And then we write the DAX functions. What is the full form of DAX? Data analysis expressions, right? Don't ask me why it is not DAE. You should ask this question to Microsoft why they named it. Okay, but it's easy to say, right? DAX instead of DAE, right? So expressions usually they show it with X. That's the reason also. Fine. And once the DAX measures are ready, then we build the reports. Okay. So the reports are like with so many visuals, so many, slicers, so many things are there, right? And then we set up the roles and RLS. I told you what is RLS. Row level security. So it depends on the login. It filters the data internally, right? And finally, we publish the report online onto the Power BI service so that your client or you can open it from Google Chrome or Edge, any account, you can directly log in and you can see that. Okay. So we'll show you entire process of the report development, right? From how to get the data from the different sources and finally publish the report, right? This is all okay, but why do people go for these things? Excel also can do all these things, right? Yes, in Excel also we can get the data from different places. We can write the required calculations like lookups and all that stuff. And then, we can do the required aggregations like sum Fs, count Fs, average Fs, or standard deviations, or variance and all. Once that is done, we can create a dashboard. Of course, the setting up RLS is not possible because there is no concept as such, but with the help of macros, you can do that. If you really want to control how much data should be shown to each individual, we can create a macro to set up a kind of RLS there. But yeah, publishing part is not there, but we can send it via email or we can keep it on a shared drive so that everyone will go there and see it. Almost everything, similar things are there. Why companies go for Power BI kind of? Excel got certain limitations. If it crosses 1 million rows, like 10,48,576 rows, and you cannot accommodate that data in one sheet, right? But there is a power pivoting concept also there in Excel itself, okay? But again, when it comes to performance, Excel is not such a great tool if you have so much of data. Usually it gets, stuck and it runs very slow when you are running very complex calculations, lookups and all. So certain limitations are there. I'll take you through all of them. But to overcome all these things, Microsoft came up with a tool, Power BI. And you know what? 60 to 70% of the concept that you see, they're like very common between Excel and Power BI. Okay, fine. So Power BI is a great data visualization tool. Why do we need to visualize the data? Why not simple tables? Why do we need to visualize the data? Simple table also can get me the same information, right? Why do I need to visualize this? Pictures can explain things. Okay, easily. Understand easily.
For example, if you give someone a novel and ask them to read, and the same thing you ask them to watch the movie, then the movie is more understandable than the book, right?
Correct, yeah. So something. Data points easy to compare, right? So it's easy for us if we see something visually, right? Yeah. So, okay, great then. Let's do a quick exercise here to understand more about this, okay? So that you will definitely understand why the data visualization is very, very neat, important. I have so much of data here. Okay, a good 8,000 plus records, and I'll ask you, tell me how my business is doing. Can you answer? Looking at this data. No, right? What is it you prefer here? If you want to see something like profit by region.
Bar or by bar chart.
So before that, we need to do something, right? Other than formulas, don't we have any other technique to quickly summarize all these 8,000 plus records into pivot table? Pivot table. Pivot table is what we do. Okay, let's do that. Go to insert, and you know how to create a pivot table in Excel. Most of you know that, right? So go there and click it. And you know what is the dimension and what is the measure if you are done with Excel session. So I'll simply say, what is that? Profit is there. And let me do one thing. I just don't want any of the formattings to be done on this. So I'll just quickly put it in general format. Okay, done. And what is the other thing that we want to see? Region name. That's it. You see, it's very easy for us to create a table like this so that you can understand it, right? From this such a big data set, we are able to easily summarize it based on the, somebody's requirement. Let's do one thing. I'll give you 5 seconds start, right? And you need to tell me the answer. The question is this: which region has the least profit? Time started. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, who is it? Central. Who is the manager? Chris. Okay, Chris, right? Okay, you are the head of the business. You just found from your data that Chris is not doing well because your profits are not doing good there. So you'll write a very simple email there. Looks like it's protected. Okay, just in case, let me tell you, you receive any file, by any chance, if it is protected, okay, the password is 123. Okay, in the material package, just you find any file, and if you try to do something with that, if it is protected, the password is 123. Okay. Okay, you will write a very short and sweet email to Chris. Did I spell it right? Okay, Chris. Hi, Chris. Yeah. Thanks, your boss. Okay. I mean, what did we just find out? Chris region is not doing good. And is it okay to file? Or
We don't know what are the raw materials he's getting or what are the products.
that's okay. That's Chris' job is to find out what's going wrong. But I see only number finally. Whether this region is performing well or not, and whose responsibility is that? That regional manager. Who is that? Chris. If Chris is not doing well, obviously the region is not doing well. So where it is going wrong, how it is going wrong, then why do I need to have a regional manager if I'm looking into all those things? I mean, it's that person's responsibility to handle that, right? Is it fair enough to write an email like this? No?
No.
My God, a few of you are working in MNCs, right? You know that how the layoffs are done. One fine day, an employee logs in. System doesn't work, the system won't work for that day. Try to log in, goes to the admin team saying, okay, my credentials are not working. And that person says, no, your account is deactivated. And you go to your boss and ask like, okay, why my account is deactivated? Okay, last Friday, we just fired you, okay. No, the funny note I'm saying, but these things can happen like this, right? Simply, someone like a manager comes to that employee's desk and say that, okay, let's go have a meeting, okay. Fine, that's it. That's the end of story.
Exactly, sir. Literally, it will happen like that only.
Yeah.
If you are working from home, they will send you a mail. We will come and collect the system. You don't
That's
need to
it.
come to
Yes.
office.
Yes, that's absolutely right. In a couple of instances, I found personally in Deloitte. Okay, we were just working on the floor, and a manager came to one of the employees and they said like,
And
let's
you will
go
be
for
checking your internet connection and you will be checking other things, why the system is not working properly.
correct. But finally, we realized that the account is deactivated and you're no more. That person is
And
no
the
more.
last hint will be, we will be paying for your notice period. Don't worry for next 2 months. That will hurts you a lot rather than all these things.
Happens, yeah. On the funny note,
Sorry.
but yes, these things, I found them on the floor. Manager came to an employee and said, let's go for a coffee. And that person never came back onto the floor again. So firing can happen like this also. Depends on different situations. But in this case, we took a call that whosoever is not doing well in terms of the profits, company took a call to fire that person, right? I gave you 5 seconds to find out and you said Chris is not doing well and we wrote an email. But let me show you one interesting thing here. I'll visualize this data. Earlier, I just only summarized the data with the help of a pivot table. Now I'll visualize the data. This time I'll give you only 2 seconds. Sir. Find out which region has the least profit. Time started. 1, 2. What? South? South?
South.
You're sure? Like 2 minutes ago, you all said Chris. I mean, Central is the one. And we wrote an email also. Go back. What's wrong there? When I gave you 5 seconds time, you are only looking at the length of the number. But there are actually decimals. This is 2,87,000 and this is 2,31,000. Right? When I gave you 5 seconds, you didn't even spend 5 seconds, right? You just looked at the length of the number and in the very second itself, you all said, okay, central. You didn't even care about what are the other numbers because the lengthwise it is looking shorter. You got the point? Now you understand why the data visualization is important. What if the same thing happens in the real time? And you send out an email to Chris and Chris read it already. There is no way that even if there is something called, what do we say? If you want to call back that email. No, there is something called, right?
Revoke.
That's not the right word. Revoke is there. Recall. Yeah. We recall that email, right? But what if by the time Chris, read it? You see that it kind of creates a chaos there, right? So understand. That's the reason all the top management presentations you see, they don't see the tables there. They see charts, pie charts, donuts, line charts, column charts, cluster column, stacked column, right? These things give us clear understanding of our data, right? So that's the reason don't take any decisions looking at the numbers like this, okay? Turn this into a visual. And then you can easily read, understand it, and you can draw accurate insights from the data. Right? Makes it clear why the data visualization is important. Using Power BI, this is what we are going to do. Easily we can visualize the data, right? And it also got so many options. We'll see one by one. But as I said, the first step is to go with SQL to understand more about the databases, data normalization, primary key, foreign key, joins, unions, right? So many things are there. And then once that is done, how to use this process data in our Power BI, right? In Power BI also, we have so many options available. Okay, so we'll have to learn all those things. And coming to the certification, there is a PL300 certification available for this Power BI. Earlier, Microsoft used to offer a SQL certification for the reporting and reporting purpose also, but they have stopped it and they are not offering anymore. For that, alternative certifications I can suggest. Free certifications are available, but when it comes to PL300 certification, you can directly buy it online also, but otherwise, as an authorized test center, we can go through the test from us also. For this, there is some fee, somewhere around 6,000 is the voucher fee, including the GST. Right? Online, it would show excluding the GST, but once you go to the payment page, it adds 18% GST on it. Okay. So somewhere around 6,000 rupees is the voucher pricing. Okay. Fine then. So we'll let you know what kind of concepts they come. And if you spend some time learning all those concepts, then yes, it is easy for you to crack PL300 certification also. Across the globe, there are very few PL300 certified candidates. Okay. And this certification has a 1-year validity. Okay. And you will have to go for a renewal test. Unlike the Excel certifications that we offer, Excel certifications, once you are certified, lifetime certified. But Power BI certification that comes with 1-year validity, and once during the first 6 months, you don't need to do anything, but the next 6 months, you will definitely have to go for a renewal before your expiry date, your certification expiry date. Okay. So that examination is free. That is not proctored also. You can take it from your home also, right? Somewhere around 50 minutes is what you need to spend. And the questions usually come only on the recently enhanced, recent enhancements. Okay, updates. So they just want to test whether you are still in touch with the subject or not. Okay, so enhancements and all, every now and then we just go through those, what is that? We get an email also, a newsletter from Power BI every month, whatever the new enhancements are done. You can go through the Power BI website. There you have list of enhancements and you just go through that so that you can easily answer those questions. So yeah, that's how the certification works, right? So tomorrow I'll start the sessions. We'll start with SQL. And then we'll move on to Power BI. That is a plan, right? Orientation, is it clear? Like what is it we are going to learn and what are the things that are covered there? Is it fine? Online participants, is that okay? Everything? Or do you have any questions, doubts, or anything about this? Okay. So coming to the material and course registration, you can reach out to this number. Go on, please, if you have any questions. Right, they are the details. You can reach out to the front office number just in case if that number is busy. You can reach out to this number also. Okay, which is there in the chat window now. You can contact them. So they'll complete your registration process and you'll get the access to the material. And the videos will be published usually after a couple of hours, and you will get a notification in your WhatsApp group that the video is ready. And if you want to, you can go through that video once again. These videos, they come with a certain validity. These are not lifetime valid. You get a question also. 6 months is what they are managing currently. Why not lifetime? right? That question usually we all get, right? Okay, why 6 months only? Why not lifetime? Then I have a question for you. I'll give you lifetime validity at the age of 65. Once you reach 65, you would still like to learn this Power BI. Why are you here? You want to learn. Learning should definitely have to have a target date or a completion date, a deadline for it. A learning which doesn't have a deadline until we are dead, you know, there is no end to it actually. Understand this. There is a reason why we are making it like very strict rule, only 6 months, because we want you to learn in that 6 months. You are here to learn, invest some time, learn it. There is no point learning something for the whole lifetime, right? Practice it, learn it, right? I am the best example, I would say. I bought like a couple of courses on Udemy, okay? Of course, they are not interactive. The problem with most of us is watching the video. A few of them are like very, great at just watch things and learn. But unless these things are interactive, most of us, we fail to learn, because when you get a doubt, if there is no one to explain that, we slowly lose the interest. That's how most of us we fail, right? So this is a problem with the recorded videos, right? Unless it is like a session, a live session which is recorded, and then if you watch it, there may be so many questions. But if it is a recorded video only of that particular topic, we don't get so much from that. The reason being, only there is a concept and they simply explain. But what if I get a doubt? There is no one to clarify that doubt. Slowly I will lose the interest. I bought a couple of courses on Udemy, like how this works actually. So there are, they spend some good time on creating those presentations and all. They recorded. I started watching. There is something called, I still remember, a course name, Good, Bad, Ugly. Okay, this is for the data visualization, and a very much important concept also for me. So I bought that course somewhere around 600, 700, they put it, and I was like, okay, so let's buy this. It's just like a 8 hours course or something, right? You know what? I bought this course around at least 5, 6 years ago. I completed only 10 or 12% of it. You know why? Lifetime. Lifetime. I'll see. And that, that time, that learning time never comes to me. You're getting the point. Unless you have a strict deadline, you usually don't learn. The way PL 300 exam, the way I completed, I booked my slot first. I made the payment. Then that fear is there, right? If you don't prepare well, you'll fail. Then I've started taking out some time, maybe at least a day, every day, 1.5 hours, started practicing it. Unless you have a deadline like this, you can't learn anything. That's the reason, right? Don't expect, because we want you to learn within these 6 months time. Yep. Perfect then. Online participants, hope everything is clear. I don't see any of the questions or doubts from you. If you have, please feel free to ask. Okay. Fine then. So let's catch up tomorrow, same time. Online participants, you can join around 9:40. Offline, come by 9:30. Settle down here. We'll start off. Okay. So thanks everyone for attending today, and I'll see you all tomorrow. I wish you all the best for the upcoming sessions, and please practice daily. Yeah. Any information is needed, please feel free to reach out to the front office. Yeah. Thanks everyone. Bye.